It's only homeschooling. In our homeschool, we have a motto: education is a journey, not a destination. So relax, it's only homeschooling. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the podcast. My name is Kimberly Bennett, and I am your host. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for giving us a listen. A little bit about me. I am a licensed professional counselor turned homeschool mom of 1. I am also an advocate for homeschooling children with learning differences. For more of my story and background, feel free to listen to episode 1 or check out my website at itsonlyhomeschooling.com. In episode 2, I spoke about how we teach godly character in our homeschool. While educational requirements vary from state to state, in our home state of Texas, parents are required to teach a course in good citizenship, in addition to the core subjects of math, reading, spelling, and grammar. Our interpretation of how to fulfill our home state's legal requirements goes much deeper. For our family, morals and values cannot be reduced to objectives, lesson plans, or workbook exercises. Simply put, we believe godly character to be more of a worldview than a subject. Being a good citizen means you have a clear set of guidelines for ethical reasoning and decision-making. You have a moral compass, and you use it. So how does one develop a moral compass in one's children? In episode 2, I talked about 3 crucial components: personal connection, theological foundation, and parental authority. Essential ingredients to successfully cultivating godly character. Ingredients beyond any books or curriculum. I also emphasized the importance of embodying a servant's heart by sowing the seeds of stewardship, seeds that were planted and watered in our families of origin, seeds my husband and I, in turn, planted and watered in our son. If you have read my bio on my website or have listened to earlier podcast episodes, then you know I felt called to service from a young age. Before I was a mom, I was a helper. I worked in a variety of nonprofit organizations, as well as juvenile justice, public education, and professional counseling. I unofficially retired from the helping profession nearly a decade ago when our son was born. Truthfully, I had planned on returning to the field of counseling once our son reached school age. I had kept my professional license current in my former home state of Georgia and had earned a second license in my newly adopted home state of Texas. But those were my plans. God, I would soon learn, had other ideas. Plans for me to continue helping others, but in a different capacity than formal counseling. Plans for me to be the mom of a child with learning differences, such as developmental coordination disorder and sensory processing disorder. Learning differences of which very few, if any, interventions were likely to be provided in either public or private school to assist my child with academic success. Plans for me to homeschool and for me to give a face and a voice to these learning differences. Plans for me to become an advocate. In Proverbs 31, 8-9, we are instructed to speak up for those who cannot speak up for themselves. For the rights of all who are destitute, speak up and judge fairly the rights of the poor and the needy. Wise counsel from a mother to a son who would later become king. While not many of us find ourselves with the resources to help others in need the way a king might, as Christians, we can endeavor to be salt and light. Walking in faith, I have embraced my new roles of homeschool mom and advocate. Most days I feel like I am flying by the seat of my pants and making it up as I go, but I just keep walking. How come? Because in my family's struggles, I know we are not alone. Reflecting on a recent sermon by my pastor, Robert Morris of Gateway Church, I know as believers, we are not promised an easy life. In fact, quite the opposite. We can expect trials and tribulation. James, humble servant of Christ, when speaking to the 12 tribes of Israel during the scattering of the Jews, stated, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him." James 1 through 27. Even in our darkest hour, the Lord provides for all our needs. Through these tests of faith, we earn patience. We learn to wait on the Lord for his perfect timing, and we learn to wait with a happy heart. How do we have a happy heart in the face of adversity? We walk in faith and lay our burdens at the cross. Jesus said, "I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." John 16:33. Christ further extends comfort to his followers by letting us know we do not carry our burdens on our own. In him, we find rest. We only need surrender to it. "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Matthew 11:29 through 30. While facing trials and tribulation may be certain, suffering is not. More than that, we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit, who has been given to us. Romans 5:3 through 5. While it may take a shift in the way we view the world, we can still sing our Lord's praises, knowing that he is working behind the scenes to prosper us for his glory. "For I know the plans I have for you," declares the Lord. "Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." Jeremiah 29:11. Hope, a cousin to faith, is the feeling of wanting for a certain thing to happen. Faith is believing wholeheartedly, with complete confidence, in a power greater than ourselves to see our hopes through to fruition. Faith guides and fuels hope through trust of submitting our will and desire to the direction of the Lord. And hope, grounded in faith, is the firmest of foundations for building character. Is there any greater comfort than to know we have a Father, protector, and champion who loves us unconditionally, is always in our corner, and wants the absolute best for us? If so, I can't think of one. Tribulation produces character. Character produces hope, and hope does not disappoint. If we accept that trials and tribulation build character, then we can rejoice in our struggles when we know that God is fulfilling his plans for us. We can place our hope in our Heavenly Father delivering us, rather than waiting to rejoice when our circumstances improve. He is building us up in the difficult times to prepare us to receive the character which helps us accomplish his will for our lives. "And after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you." 1 Peter 5:10. What better way to teach character in your home than by showing your child how you handle challenges put before you by the Lord. Children may or may not always listen to what we say, but I can guarantee you they notice what we do. Trust me, try sneaking into the pantry for a post 9 p.m. cookie once you've said no dessert. Busted. What about going beyond our own personal difficulties? What do we do to lift up others during their challenges? How do we serve others in their times of need? In September, we launched our newest monthly blog series from It's Only Homeschooling, the Salt and Light Spotlight. At the end of episode 2, we talked a little bit about this series, but in case you missed it, here is a recap. As believers, we are instructed to be salt and light, seasoning our words, thoughts, and deeds in a manner that will make others thirst for knowledge of our Savior. In this series, we shine a light on and spread the good news about the good deeds of some amazing outreach organizations, both local to the DFW area and across the globe. Dedicated blog posts highlighting a different service organization feature on our website on the first Friday of every month. Podcast episodes feature on the second Wednesday of every month. In this role as advocate, it is our hope to bring awareness and encourage support. While neither part of a formal curriculum nor found in any workbook, my sincerest hope is the Salt and Light Spotlight project itself will ignite a spark in my son to have a servant's heart. For us, this is more than just a few words on a page, a social media post, or even a few minutes of audio. This service project is a calling for our homeschool family. Today, I have a special guest with me. I would like to introduce you to my pretty cool co-host and content co-creator, my son, Jay, also known as IOH Kid.
Hi.
So, Jay, am I allowed to bother you on this Friday afternoon for an interview?
Okay, I guess.
We homeschool, so we pretty much get to do school our way, right?
Yeah. Pretty much our own way.
Pretty much our own thing. But Texas does require that your parents, your dad and I, teach you about being a good citizen. So what does it mean to you to be a good citizen?
To put it simply, I think it means to help others in need, give them their basic needs, and,
take care of them?
Take care of them, yeah.
Take care of them. I agree. Do you think kids are too little to help?
No. I'm a kid.
You are.
You call me IOH Kid, doesn't that mean I'm a kid?
You are a kid, and you are certainly not too little.
Which means I think kids are perfectly fine to do it.
I agree. Wholeheartedly. Over the years, we have participated in a lot of projects, such as Compassion International, canned food drives, Toys for Tots, Operation Christmas Child, The Samaritan's Purse. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done with Compassion International and your pen pal, Affirm?
Okay, so first I'll tell you guys about Affirm. Affirm is our friend in Burkina Faso that I write to, and he writes back. Also, Affirm and I share the same birthday, which that's just amazing. The exact same day, exact same year. It's just crazy.
That is pretty cool. Well, today we are going to focus on one of these different organizations that we have worked with over the years, Phillip's Wish. Do you remember the first time you learned about Phillip's Wish?
Yes.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about it?
So you saw Miss Cyndi, the owner of Phillip's Wish.
Right.
On
Facebook?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Or I thought it was Instagram for a second.
That's okay.
Anyways, so you saw her on Facebook, and there was a little Facebook post that said she needed gatherings of food to put in her storage, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so we went to Aldi to get the food she needed with Ollie only.
With the mascot.
And with the supplies we had gathered, we brought it to her house and she stocked it up. So, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when you met Miss Cyndi, she took everything immediately and said thank you and kind of rushed us out the door.
Actually, she did the exact opposite thing. She talked to me, showed me some videos on Phillip's Wish. Then she talked to you and me at the same time, really.
Yeah, she spent time with us.
And it was really sweet.
It was very sweet. Well, today we have a big job for you. We are going to let you take over the microphone of our podcast and let you be the interviewer.
Okay, I guess so. This is weird.
You can do it.
Okay.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
We are here today with Miss Cyndi Bunch, one of the founders of Phillip's Wish, and we have IOH Kid J here to ask a few questions.
Hi.
Hi, how are ya?
I'm good.
Yeah, you look good. You look like you've had a good day.
Yep, I have.
That's good.
Well, what would you like to ask Miss Cyndi?
Okay. I have 8 questions.
Okay.
Question number 1. How long have you been helping people?
For about 19 and a half years.
Ooh.
Long time.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 2. What did you first think when your son Phillip said he wanted to help people who are homeless? I mean, he was a kid, right?
Yes, he was actually, in all the articles they say he was 10. He was not 10, he was 5.
Oh, we had that wrong. We had 7. He was
in
5.
kindergarten.
Oh, my.
Yeah, he was, but that's when we started. Our first year we started was in December, so it was like,
Dead of winter.
yeah, it's like, how are we gonna get this done? Because then his birthday's on Christmas Eve, and that's what he wanted to do for his birthday, was to give out blankets to the homeless because his dad suffers from mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a disease, and he was out on the streets, living in the streets, and he wanted to find his dad and make sure his dad was warm. So the first year we collected 200 blankets in December. The
200.
That sounds like a lot, but just wait.
And the next year we stopped counting at 1900. And we also gave out toys, hygiene products, pop-top canned foods, and then it just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And when Phillip was 7, we started doing interviews on TV. People would call us for interviews. So Phillip would do interviews on TV and tell them about his dad's disease and why he wanted to help people, and then it really took off.
Okay.
So do you think about some of the things that Miss Cyndi was sharing that they would give? The blankets to keep them warm.
It started with the blankets and then it grew and grew and grew.
And it grew and grew and grew.
We also collected scarves and coats and gloves.
Collecting the basic needs.
And you know what a big item is? Socks.
Could you imagine not having socks when your feet are cold? Or not being able to brush your teeth? Now we kind of have to remind you to brush your teeth. But what if it were
not being
not
able
an
to
option?
take a shower.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we started with the blankets. We still do blankets, but we moved it on to sleeping bags because they're weatherproof. They don't get wet, so they don't get ruined, and they're easy to carry around. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that especially they would need to give people foods with pop top? Do you know what that is?
Pop top? Oh, like a lid?
Yeah, it's like a lid, but when you're out there, all you have to do
is take off the lid and then it's ready to eat.
Yes. Canned goods are a wonderful thing to give people, but why do you think it's important to give them specifically pop-top foods?
Because then they don't have to cook them.
They don't have to cook them, but also how are they going to open it without a wet
A can opener.
Yeah, most people are not going to have a can opener out there, huh?
Exactly.
That is so much to think about. So much to think about.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 3. How old is Phillip now?
Phillip will be 26 on December 24th, Christmas Eve.
Cool.
Christmas Eve, baby.
Okay. Question number 4. Have you met any kids who are homeless?
Oh, yes. Too many.
Too many to count.
Too many to count, yes. And they need things that they especially need coats, new coats, because they have to go to school. So we try to get warm winter items for them: coats, pants, long shirts, stuff that'll keep them warm. And when they go to school, they'll look nice, because most people don't know these children are homeless.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to, we focus on children a lot.
Oh, question number 5. Do you have a lot of kids that help with Phillip's wish?
Oh, yes. Kids are always invited, and we have a ton of kids that show up.
Mm-hmm.
How do the kids help?
Yeah.
They give out the items. They give out hot chocolate, and they give out donuts in the morning, because we start early in the morning, and then we do a lunch in the afternoon. Actually, I partnered with another group this year. It's called 5 Loaves and 2 Fish. So we've partnered together because they have a warehouse and I don't. So when I get full here with sleeping bags and coats and stuff, they'll come pick them up, take them to the warehouse, so I can. It's like when COVID was real big, a real big deal, and you couldn't get out, when everybody was on lockdown, you couldn't get out. We would go to the campsites, because the homeless people were in campsites.
It's like
Little
it's like
cities.
their own little cities in tents, in communities.
Yeah.
So it's like a little town made of tents.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much. And we would go and we would take food. What I called the people were runners, because I couldn't leave the house. So I would get the pop-top canned foods, and they would come get them in the waters, and they would take them out there every day.
Every day.
Every day.
So
Yes.
people could have something to eat and have water during a time remember when when COVID first hit and we had to stay home and everybody had to stay home and then Daddy came home to work? Well, imagine if you were relying on someone else to bring you groceries and to bring you hygiene, like your toothpaste and your soap and your shampoo, and that was your lifeline to get those things. Imagine what it would be like if that all of a sudden stopped.
And they closed all the restaurants, remember? So they couldn't even go to like a Burger King and get a hamburger. Or, what's the big one? McDonald's, where you get your 99-cent hamburgers. They couldn't even do that because it was closed. So they had to eat. So we couldn't serve. The city wouldn't let us serve hot meals. You would get fined, so we had to come up with, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to make, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and then put cans of food and drinks, and we would do it every day and go to different campsites. And there was a lot. There's over 5,000 people living in the streets that don't have homes in Dallas and Fort Worth.
5,000.
Oh, and growing, due to the economy right now. Yeah, a lot of people are losing their homes. So the people that are out there aren't out there because they want to be. It's because they have no choice and have no other place to go.
So Miss Cyndi was faced with an obstacle.
Big time.
But how did she handle that challenge? Did she say, "Oh, well, that's it. There's just nothing I can do"?
No.
She made a way. She made a way.
And I'm going to tell you, when it was hard, when you work for God, it's one of the hardest jobs you'll ever have. But it's so fulfilling. Makes your heart feel good.
It does.
To help other people.
You know, God tells us we're going to face trials and tribulation. That's guaranteed. That's going to happen as part of our life. We've talked about that. But what else does he also guarantee us? That we will not go through it alone. And what does Christ tell us? You don't have anything to fear from this world because I have overcome the world.
Yes.
So whenever there's an obstacle or a challenge, do you know what that teaches us? Character. And when we are faced with those kinds of challenges, okay, my conviction, my belief, is that I am still going to do this no matter what obstacle comes my way.
Yes.
You don't even have to know the way. God will give you the way.
Yes, he will. Question number 6. How many people have you helped?
Oh my, you know what? I never keep count. That's one thing I do. I don't count.
Like about maybe.
Thousands, thousands. A lot.
A lot.
So I
Too
depend.
many to count.
Yeah,
Too many to count.
we depend on the community to help us because there's only so much that I can do by myself. So if we all come together as a team, it makes it a lot easier. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's why I asked for donations like sleeping bags and the food because I alone can't do it by myself. So I put my trust in God and God brings me the help.
And there have been some times I've read Miss Cindy's posts over the years where it looked pretty close. And it's like, okay, Lord, I don't know where this is coming from tomorrow. So I remember right when we met Miss Cindy, it was after the pandemic, but it was also after the ice storm.
Yes.
So that was
a
double whammy.
Rough one.
Do you remember when we had to stay home and we had to boil water?
And
in
put
Texas?
it in the toilet.
So
and put it in the bathtub.
Yes.
Just crazy.
Now imagine, you went out and played in that for just a little bit. But imagine if you had to live in that. Outside. During that time.
Question number 7. What do you like best about helping others?
It's my passion. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, there's something I read. I read a lot of Rick Warren, The Purpose-Driven Life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you find your purpose through your greatest pain. So some people can either wallow in that pain and do nothing, or others can pick up and make it a better world. So that's what I chose to do when I was going through the turmoil in my life. Phillip and I decided we were going to turn a bad situation into something that God would want us to do.
Question number 8. What is the hardest part of helping others?
The hardest part is getting people to donate stuff, especially this year because this year the economy's bad, gas is high, food alone has gone up considerably, so it's hard to get people to donate. So I'm constantly begging. I'll beg on Facebook, I'll call people. It's a challenge, but God's faithful and he always comes through. We as a community try to fulfill that need.
Did that get all of your questions?
Yep, we've done all the questions.
Is there anything else you just want to, that's not on your paper? We wrote those down just because I knew you were going to get nervous. But is there anything else you just want to talk with Miss, you did wonderful. You want to just talk with Miss Cindy about or ask Miss Cindy about? Maybe. You don't have to. It's just, once you get more comfortable talking, it kind of comes easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do something for me or something for them. If you want to do something for them, you can ask people to donate.
Okay.
Donate warm winter items because we are in desperate need because it's going to get cold. And I don't want to wait till December. We want to start making sure that we have enough to
You
take
want to
care
start now.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Because we never know when the cold weather is going to hit, especially in Texas.
Very true. We can have summer 6 months of the year, or we can have an ice storm that's unheard of on Valentine's Day in a random year after a pandemic.
Yeah. Well, I did come up with one more question.
Okay.
So, how much food have you gathered?
How much food? Oh, my. Remember when you came over and the food bank didn't have anything in it?
Yeah.
So I got on Facebook and I was pleading to different groups of the people that live around here, and people started bringing stuff. So I didn't have to go buy all this stuff by myself. I did a little. I bought a little bit because we weren't getting donations, and then all of a sudden they just started bringing stuff.
And bringing.
Yes, and I make sure that everything's in date. We don't give anything away that's out of date, ever.
Yeah. Anything expired could get you sick.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Cyndi, for taking the time to talk with us today.
Yep.
I'm going to share more of your story.
Oh, please do.
And we are just so thankful for you to take the time to spend with us, and your grace and your humble nature and your tireless efforts to help others have not only caught our attention, but we would also like to share that Miss Cyndi has caught the eye of Hollywood. There is a movie that has been made about Miss Cyndi's life and her son Phillip. But the movie is 5,000 Blankets. It's by Affirm.
Sonia Affirm and Caption Productions.
And it will be in theaters in
Second week in December. December 12th. I just gave it up.
Oh, well, we absolutely cannot wait to go see this movie as a family, and we encourage you to do the same so you can learn more about Miss Cyndi's story.
Yes.
And if you would like to learn about how you can help Phillip's wish, Miss Cyndi's website, Miss Cyndi's website, and also see how you can contribute in your community. Thank you so much for your time today, Miss Cyndi.
Thank you.
Bye.
Was that fun? Were you nervous interviewing Miss Cyndi?
Well, at first I was, but then I got used to it and I was okay, and I wasn't nervous at all anymore.
Miss Cyndi is very easy to talk to. She just kind of makes you relax the minute you spend time with her. Isn't it amazing to know we can still do hard things even when we're afraid? Even when we have zero clue as to what we're doing, we just keep walking in faith. That's character. What would you like to say to other kids and parents who might be listening right now?
Well, one major thing is that helping others is really important.
Well, I would like to thank you for being my helper today.
You're welcome, Mommy.
I hope our little project will inspire you to help these organizations and maybe start a homeschool service project of your own. What better way to grow your children in character than by teaching them the fruit of the Spirit and by being the hands and feet of Christ? If you would like to learn more about Pastor Robert Morris's Dream to Destiny series, check out our church's website at gatewaypeople.com. Just click on the Watch tab. Or buy his book, From Dream to Destiny, the 10 tests you must go through to fulfill God's purpose for your life. Starting in October, new podcast episodes will air on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of every month. Tune in to us on Podbean, YouTube, or our website, itsonlyhomeschooling.com, to listen. In Episode 4, we will feature another great advocacy organization, DCD Kids. Join us as we chat with founder and fellow mom and advocate Sue Hill about her work in spreading awareness for the developmental coordination disorder community. With the It's Only Homeschooling podcast, we invite your family to join ours for life lessons beyond the classroom. We hope you'll make us one of your regular stops along the way in your journey. And remember, education is a journey, not a destination. Until we meet again, take a deep breath and relax. It's only homeschooling.